The heck? What the heck? What's up? That's quite the entrance.
Old man knees. What can I say?
No, I mean with the car, not the knees.
That's just Subaru. How Subaru drivers drive.
Yeah. Places a Subaru will take you.
It's all about love.
So why don't you tell them the story of how you came to visit?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I live in Kentucky, and we were just sitting on Discord. Little gamers us. We're sitting on Discord, and he had been asking me to come out for a while, and I just kind of put it off. And we were just talking. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna come here tomorrow. So I just got in my car early in the morning, and here I am, just for your show.
Yeah, it was like 10 p.m. and he was like, "What's your address?" And I was like, "Don't mess with me like that, bro."
Yeah, I tried to ask him for his address, and he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
He didn't believe me, so I was like, all right, he doesn't want me to come. That's fine.
So why don't you intro yourself, kind of the same thing that I had Michael do last week, like kind of where you're at in life, what you're up to, and that kind of thing. We'll get in more detail about like your car, you know, current car stuff you're doing, but just kind of give a little insight on a little bit about yourself, maybe a fun fact, something like that. But
I don't know about fun fact, but I just graduated from the University of Kentucky. I have been working in sales. You know, just been doing the sales grind just to pay for some car stuff, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
I've got a girlfriend of 6 years, just like Michael. I mean, we're kind of on the same path there. But yeah, just been working on cars forever. Kind of how we kind of started again. A little bit through gaming, a little bit through cars. Is how me and you kind of rekindled our friendship once we moved.
It was weird because our friendship has gone through so many different like states of like what we were up to. We'll get a little bit deeper into that, and some in this episode, some in the podcast we're going to record after this. It's going to be the first episode of the podcast, by the way, so if you guys want to go listen to that, I would really appreciate it. I don't know how long it's going to be yet with us two. We could go as long as probably we wanted to. But
it's just an honor to do it.
But we're going to talk a little bit more now about kind of like your car past and stuff. So what would you say got you into cars? Was it a person? Was it a movie? Was it...
It's tough because, I grew up, I was born in Chicago, and then I moved to Kentucky when I was pretty young. There's not a lot of car culture in Kentucky, if you know about it, but, just watching movies, and my dad had an old 93 LX 5-liter Mustang. It was on nitrous and stuff like that, so I really think that's kind of what started me on a path to getting into cars. He ended up selling it. I told him to sell it because I thought he was going to get a Ferrari or something like that. Just being me, being a little kid. If you sell this old Mustang, you could get something way better. But yeah, he sold that, which is unfortunate. I would love to have that thing nowadays. But from then, I just wanted a nice car. I started looking for my first car. I think I wanted a Focus ST at first. I wanted an old Subaru Legacy. I just wanted something I could really wrench on. Ended up getting an 07 Honda Accord, which I put an eBay intake on, the first things you do when you get a car.
That was actually my next question was, what was your first car? So that's a good lead on.
Yep. I bought a 07 Honda Accord. It had around 200,000 miles on it when I bought it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I put an eBay intake on it. It was, just a little automatic, just kind of cheap car to have for your first car. I drove the wheels off of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I always say this. When you have a slow car, I feel like you drive it so much faster than you drive when you have a fast car.
Yeah.
Because it's not as loud. You don't feel like you're going to get in much trouble with it. Things like that,
Yeah, I mean, I have that's like my car now. I have like a big turbo car and like E85 and all that kind of stuff, and it's like I never drive that car fast. Like I've never gotten a ticket in it. The only thing I go fast is like first to third, and that's like the only thing. And unless we do like a highway pull from like 50 or something, or 40 or whatever it is. But
Yeah, I mean, when me and you hang out, I usually drive a little bit faster trying to keep up
Yeah.
with you. But
that was, I think you just answered this question, but I'm going to ask you it anyways. Do you remember what your first mod on a car was? Was it that intake? Or was it something different?
I think it's something I've never told anybody.
Oh, we're getting first out here on Shop Talk now.
I was kind of learning about like ECU and OBD2 port kind of like
Oh,
tuners.
no.
So I was, surfing eBay, and I saw one of those
As a
ones.
teenager does.
Yeah, I saw one of those ones that were like improves fuel economy and improves power by like 17%. And it's just like a little OBD2 port. You just plug it in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, it's like $20.
You got to try it.
Yeah, I gotta try it. So I plugged it in. They said like drive 300 miles, and then after that 300 miles, it'll like change the feel of the car. So I plugged it in for probably 20 miles. And I was like, what am I doing? This is never gonna work, And I still have it, and I really want to take it apart and just see what's inside, because I know it's just like probably nothing.
Yeah, it's probably just like a GG Bozo.
Yeah, right.
On the inside of it.
Yeah.
It's funny because I remember I got one of those in the mail when I had my second Speed 3, my red one, and I got it was some apply for a car sponsorship thing online that I did. Like when I first got the car, so I really didn't know much yet, and I went online and I filled it out, and they're like, oh, we're gonna send you a welcome packet in the mail, and they sent me some stickers and some flyers and stuff and other little keychain things, and then one of those was in there, and I was like, I don't dare put this on my car.
Yeah,
So I
right.
gave it to Michael, and I'm pretty sure he put it on his CRV for a month. But
We'll have to reach out, see if it worked.
yeah. All right, now we're going to go into the second portion, which is the current state of car manufacturers. Now this can be interesting because a lot is changing in the last, I would say 5 years now.
Yeah, it's just time to talk about it, I think.
With the whole EV switchover thing, a lot of car companies are doing it. There's a small amount that aren't. And
Very small amount.
just a lot of economical changes, of course, because of the environment, and a lot of manufacturers trying to lead that change. So it's just kind of an awkward time in the car culture in general, if you're into the car culture. So my first question is for kind of for both of us to discuss is the manual trans, do you think, dead?
I don't know, because I don't know how they would put it in electric vehicles. Because usually, I assume most electric vehicles are going to be like a CVT kind of deal, where
Yeah.
it's just a big chain. But, the new Supra, they reintroduced a manual. I think the 400Z, I assume, has a manual in it. Things like that. But I don't think those are going to be very long
I
productions.
know the newer Civic still has a manual option too. So Honda's keeping that around.
Yeah. So, as far as electric car goes, they don't even have a Prindle. It's just so I think once electric cars really take off, and in California in 2026, you can't even buy a new non-electric car.
Yeah.
I would say that they'd probably be dead after that, other than just enthusiasts.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I would say within the next 10 years we'll probably be able to answer that question. It's not something that I would say that we can, it's obviously not dead because the new generation of cars just came out and they're still offering that. But as far as I'm pretty sure the daily driver cars, it'll be dead within the next 5 years for sure.
Yeah, I think so. The first electric car company, it could be Ford, could be whatever, but to re-release an electric car with a manual transmission, if it's possible. I don't know much about EVs.
Yeah, I'm
but
not an engineer, so I don't know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you should
I'm
ask
sure they
Michael.
can.
Yeah. When they do that, and I'm sure it's just going to be kind of a fake manual where you just put it in gear and it just kind of senses what you want it to be in.
Yeah.
I think that would sell pretty well to car enthusiasts, because, like I said, in 5 years it's going to be very hard to buy a car that's not electric, I think. Maybe 10.
Who knows? Maybe the aftermarket manual trans market will take off.
A bunch of people putting Tremix in a Tesla.
That would be pretty cool. Her shifter in a Tesla. That'd be pretty sick. I think there could be a jump in that for, maybe it would make it even better by making the ease of auto to manual swaps maybe take off, and maybe it would be 10 times easier to just bolt up a manual trans to a everyday car.
Yeah.
But so here's a good question for you. What is the car manufacturer that is still, you think, doing it right? So everything that you like to see still as a car guy, what car manufacturer do you think is still doing a good job?
If you would have asked me a little bit ago, I would have said Dodge, which is weird because I'm not a big Dodge guy.
Yeah.
But they were still putting horsepower. They're
They're putting Hellcats and everything.
Yeah, and they were kind of moving towards all-wheel drive, which I think is what the future of muscle cars would have been. They're just all-wheel drive power, just really snapping. But now they've released that they're pretty much done with the Challenger and Charger.
Yeah, they're going all EV. It
All
sounds
EV,
like.
yeah. I think the people who are doing it right now are like new companies like Rivian, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're releasing like electric trucks that are like a luxury truck, but it's at a time where everyone else is kind of trying to keep up,
Mm-hmm.
So they've spent the years developing that specific thing, whereas Ford is like trying to transition everything over from gas to EV, which I say just because of the Lightning. But I think places like Rivian are doing it the best. Tesla's doing a good job with like advertising stuff. I don't think Teslas are there yet as far as
Yeah, I mean, you see
build quality
Tesla
and stuff like
graveyards
that.
and stuff
Yeah.
all over in
But,
international places.
Yeah, I think new companies who are making electric cars, I think they could work. I think Rivian's going to be around.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those like trucks and stuff coming out too. They're running on like nitrogen and stuff, I believe, that are using other types of fuels, which I think is a good idea because the burn off doesn't create as much emissions as like say diesel engines do. But I don't think they're going to have to do a lot of research and development on as far as like these commercial transportation stuff, as far as semis, like if they do anything with like local transport, buses, trains, all of that kind of stuff, because all that stuff now runs on diesel and has for a long time because it's extremely like low on cost, because obviously you can go a lot farther on a mile of diesel than you can a mile of gas.
Right.
So it's always been a cheaper expense for like taxes and stuff like that. But yeah, I think other fuel is kind of going to be the future of.
I mean, we've seen
everything.
TikToks of people with apparently they have like a hydrogen.
Yeah,
based
wood-burning
Mercedes, like
trucks.
a water-based Mercedes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean,
I've
it
seen
could be.
people that convert their vehicles to like burning off like food fat,
Yeah,
like
like fry
oils
oil,
and stuff, like fry oil. So that's kind of
That's been
another
around
one.
for a while, though. I mean,
Yeah, that has been around
that was
for a
before
while.
like electric cars were even a thing.
That would be kind of cool because it would create less waste.
Smell like egg rolls too. It's all over the place.
So let's talk about the actual car scene, like the Stance boys, the Power boys. Everybody that's putting turbo, supercharged. What do you think is the future of the car scene in general for like all aspects of style? The low rider boys on hydraulics, all those kind of people.
Well, I think in the future it's going to be a lot of stance people because, like I said, with electric cars, I don't think they're going to care so much about power because you're not going to be able to hear it. I feel like a big part is just making your old muscle cars loud as possible. Whereas with stance people, they don't really care. I mean, yeah, that you want it to have that kind of turbo whoosh, that blow off valve, all that kind of stuff, and a nice exhaust. But it's more about the stance that you have. You already see stanced out Teslas and stuff like that now. So I think it's going to be mostly stance people. And then there's always going to be those old muscle car guys. They're just going to be harder to find.
Yeah, and you look at everything that the Access Sport has done now with
don't even get me started as a Subaru person.
with restrictions on tunes and everything now, and flex fuel and all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, you already kind of see it with them trying to dwindle down on people that are trying to make power in cars.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be one of those things where if you're going to have a car that has a lot of power, you're going to have to take it to like drag days and tracks. You're not going to be able to use it publicly. I think, and it's going to create like a rich people thing where only rich people have cars with power, because they can't. Not everyday person can afford to go to the track every weekend or go to the drag strip. I mean, the drag strip's pretty cheap, but like you want to enjoy your car like out in the streets with all the guys and everything. Not that you're going to go out and drive recklessly, but just so like you can enjoy driving your car. Because at the end of the day, everybody just likes being able to go and cruise and take your car out and show off all the hard work you've done.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks because like I had a 2010 Impreza WRX and I didn't put a whole lot of money into it. It was my daily driver. It had a lot of miles on it, so I didn't want to make it anything crazy. But I still had the ability to. And then I got this, and I wanted to do deletes, and I wanted to do flex fuel and all that kind of stuff, but a Cobb Access port wouldn't let you. And I didn't know enough about. There's a company called ECU Tech that does an access port that people are kind of switching over to now. I just didn't trust it, and I already had an access port. But like I had to do two tunes, one with the 85 and one with pump gas rather than just a flex fuel tune because it won't, they won't let you anymore. So
Yeah.
it kind of sucks I missed out with this car because I think it could have been more.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time now you have other stuff going on now too, which we'll talk about in a minute. So
I do.
And this is a question that I'm going to probably try to keep in everybody that I have on the show. What is your least favorite trend in the car scene right now? And just go ahead and just absolutely roast somebody if you want to.
Okay, this is going to be mean, I think. People who post their cars when they have like spray painted wheels and like fake hood scoop, stuff like that. And they post them and they're like, I got this, bad bleep. Or I changed my answer.
I knew you were going to once because this is what popped in my head that I know from you with things that you critique that I notice.
People call their cars girls, when they say like, oh, my girl's so sexy, and they post a picture of their car.
Yeah.
That just like, it's always really irritating.
I had a conversation with somebody recently about this, and it was a girl, and she was like, well, what are you going to name the car? Isn't talking about the 300ZX.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't usually name cars because I think that's weird. Mm-hmm. And she was like, what, are you kidding me? I feel like everybody does that. I'm like, no, I think that's like strange, honestly.
I think I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with naming your car. It's just talking about it sexually, I think, is a weird thing. Like, I don't know. I'm about to call this car Jeff, just so I stay away from that.
His name Jeff.
Yeah, my name's Jeff.
That's a fair point. I didn't think you were going to go to the, like, calling your car something in, like, an intimate way. I thought you were going to go to the point of people posting, like, rap lyrics to, like, their pictures of their cars.
I mean, that too. I mean, that kind of goes along with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, rapping about your
yeah,
vehicle,
just, like, posting, like, a Lil Baby lyric, like, over top of, like, your car posts. Like, I don't know. I just try to be... I'm not, like, throwing shade in anybody in particular, but, like, I feel like everybody does that, and I've always been somebody who tries to be, like, a little bit more... I talk about my car when I post it, which is why I have this, because I like talking about everything that I'm doing and like working on it. Don't get me wrong, I have in the past. Like when I first got in the car scene, I posted
your first Mazda speaker.
I posted stuff like that because everybody else did it. Mm-hmm. Everybody else do it. Am I English? No,
I feel like I did that with
even
with my Accord. I feel like I did that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but not as bad as you.
Yeah, I probably posted something of like my chameleon tint on my headlights on my first P3, and she looking bad or something like that.
Yeah, you should throw up a clip from your old Instagram or like a.
Yeah, I'll probably throw one on the screen of our two cringiest like car posts. That would be a good one. your wheels are turning right now. I can see it. Yeah. Okay, so we're done with that segment. We're gonna go into the last segment, which is. Me and you both kind of have a lot of exciting stuff going on with cars right now because we've just kind of gotten the cars that we really want to be able to work on. So why don't you tell them kind of like, just go ahead and tell them first what your other car is back at home that could not be here.
I want to start by prefacing it by, me and you have been talking about this for, I'd say a little bit over a year about these specific two cars. Yours obviously the 300ZX, and I always wanted an FCR X7. And I finally bought one. It was a little heap. Doesn't have a motor, but it has a transmission. It's spray painted, but the body's pretty clean on it. So
the body is very clean. I haven't seen it in person yet, but like the body looks like
it's
very
pretty straight. I hope. I mean,
and it's a Southern car too.
Yeah. So not a spot of rust. It's already been like sprayed for rust and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, undercoating and all that.
It's gonna be a lot of work to get it going. The interior's taken apart. It was a track car that blew up, so I kind of took over for somebody after that, but. Yeah, I just got to find a motor and some seats, and then it should be ready to be put back together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's where probably all my car money is going to go into, rather than it's where I want it to be. Minus front lip. On the way here, my front lip blew off or something. No, actually, a truck tire blew up in front of me and sprayed rubber all over it. Now I don't know if that's what did it.
I would say that's probably what did it.
It made some clunks when it hit it.
Yeah.
But,
and then what year is your FC? Is it an 86?
It's an 87.
God, Julian, is this your car?
Yep.
Monte Carlo. What a cool car. It's an 86.
87.
Why don't you go ahead and say like what's next for the RX-7? Like what are you currently either waiting for or waiting to do or working on currently?
Yeah, I'm prepping it for sandblasting. I'm gonna sandblast it, primer it, and then paint it. I'm not really sure what color I want to paint it. It is
Yeah,
a
that's
Turbo
gonna be my next
2.
question.
It's Turbo 2, so I was kind of thinking keeping it, the original color. But at this point, it doesn't have the original motor in it. It's going to have aftermarket seats, all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm just going to paint it whatever I want.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe white, maybe some type of gray. Who knows? I don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, it's so hard with paint because it's like you kind of got to go with a color where you could get a couple different sets of wheels for it that would go with it or whatever because, paint is a lot more permanent than wrap is. It's not like you're just going to want to repaint your car every 3 years.
Yeah, I don't want to paint it, dark green and then in a year be like, man, I hate this and have to change it. So
Yeah. I think whatever color you pick will be really good. Last question before we go into the trivia segment. Where once again on Chop Talk, somebody has the chance to win a T-shirt if they get 3 out of 5 questions right.
I'm not going to, but yeah, we're going to find out that I don't know that much about cars.
So last question of this segment was what I'm interested to know, because I think I know a few of them, but what is your dream 3-car garage? It's the ultimate question for a car guy.
Well, now that I have an FC, I don't think I should include it because I've gotten one now. So I'll leave that out. However, that would have been previously what I would have had. A Lancia Delta, which is an interesting one, I think. Like an old, like a 03 Land Rover, or like an 80s Land Rover Defender.
I'm surprised you threw that in there.
I just love them. I think that would be a fun like off-road car. Off-road, go camping with it, kind of go off-road a little bit, but also probably use it as a daily. Just fine with low miles. And then
I don't think you'd want a daily Defender, but maybe just a regular like 03 Land Rover because the Defender goes about 50 miles an hour.
I think a Defender with like, you put like a Hemi in it or something. Put a big Cummins in a Defender. And then my third one I'm going to go with a Boss 429. Hold on, like a 69 or something
That's
like that.
a good choice. Would you get one in
black?
Triple black? I was about to say.
Black, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. All right. We're flipping to the backside, and you guys know what that means. We're going to the trivia questions. So some of these will be multiple choice. I will obviously say if they're multiple choice. I'm not going to just like pause for 5 seconds and expect you to answer it. I believe, let's see, 2 of them are multiple choice out of the 5.
Maybe I should just get them all wrong on purpose, so then I could say like, oh, I did it on purpose.
So then you say you saved me some money by not ordering you a T-shirt.
Right, exactly.
All right. Number 1 trivia question. I knew this one was probably going to make you laugh. According to CarMax, how many people drive an auto over a manual? This is multiple choice.
Okay.
A, 90%, B, 80%, or C, 96%.
I mean, the rule of like, taking a test, I feel like, is I should go with 96%. Because that's like, it's not like an even, So I'm going to go with 96.
What'd you say?
I'm going to go with 96.
Okay.
And the reason is, I think
give me a logic.
While I worked at CarMax, I think I sold maybe 2 manual cars the whole time I worked there. And we'd always have
Can you remember what they were?
One was a Charger. It was bright yellow with like a bunch of like, kind of like, I don't know.
Did it have the bumper guards, the
Is that
sweet
what they
bumper
had?
guards on the sides?
No, it was a little bit older than that. But no, a lot of people appraised their like Challengers and stuff with those yellow bumper guards.
Oh.
I'd always try to sneak in the conversation like, those don't have to be on there. But yeah, one was a Charger, and then one was a Mitsubishi Mirage with a little manual.
Interesting.
And there was a third one. I sold a Mini Cooper with manual too.
No, nice. Mini Coopers are fun to drive. All right, I'm not going to tell you the answers, but if you got anything right, I'm going to be try to be very secretive about it. So we got our answer to the first one. Second question, this is also multiple choice. What year was Subaru founded? This is multiple choice.
Okay.
Is it A, 1953, B, 1960, or C, 1951? I can read them again if you need me to.
I'm trying to think of like the oldest Subarus.
That you know of. I knew this one was going to make your wheels turn.
I mean, there's like, I don't think the Justy and all that kind of stuff is that old. But okay, give me one more time.
What year was Subaru founded? A, 1953, B, 1960, or C, 1951?
I'm gonna go with 51, but I'm going to be really mad if it's 60 because I can't think of any like 50s Subarus.
Okay. On to question number 3.
Okay. Actually, no. Can I change that?
Nope.
I was going to go with 53.
We're going to go to number 3 now. What was the name of the lowrider car in the movie Cars? The Impala with the paint jobs that changed in like every scene.
Yeah, I got it. I was thinking Ramirez, but it's actually Ramon.
Okay, we're going with Ramon.
Great movie. I mean, underrated movie.
Underrated movie for sure.
Yeah.
We have always said that.
I think if people watched it now without thinking like you have to be a car person to watch it, like I know like there's car kids, you know, like we liked Cars as kids, so we liked it. I think if anyone watched it now without that perspective, I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah, it
And
really
that's
is.
what killed it. I think it's because you had to be like a boy that likes cars to watch that movie.
Yeah, I just think all the voices in that movie were very, very good. Like there was a bunch of really good people
Yeah,
in that
dynamite
movie.
actors in that.
Yeah. And just like, I don't know, the story and everything is really, really good as a kid. And
Now
it
the
just
second-
looked like the whole movie, like when I go back and watch it now, the colors and everything in the movie are so like bright and fun.
First Pixar movie to do ray tracing. So that's why you see the kind of reflection on all the cars.
That's kind of sick. I didn't know that. Here's another good one. Question number 4. What was the main character's name in the movie Gran Torino?
Well, okay. So I assume you mean Walt. But there was also Tao, who I think is more of the main character, almost. It's kind of his like, no, I go back. No, it's Walt. I mean Walt.
Okay.
Wally. Oh, Wally.
Okay. I really thought when I wrote that one down that I was going to get you with one where in the spotlight you were going to choke and not think of the name.
Oh, I love that movie.
So, all right, question number 5, last question, and then we're going to get to know if you got any right or not. Number 5, what was the name of the first rotary in the first Gen RX-7?
In the first Gen RX-7, it was a Wankel rotary, but it was a 12A, is what I assume you're kind of getting at. They had the 12A originally, and then the 13B, and then in the RX-8 they had a Renesis, which is a whole other story.
Well, the one that I'm thinking of is the motor that's in the FB.
The FB had a 12A in it.
Okay, we're going with that. Interesting.
It also had worm and roller steering, and it had drum brakes, which is the reason most people did not buy them now.
They are a lot uglier than the FC too.
Yeah, and a little story about them. The reason they put drum brakes and worm and roller steering in them is because they were introducing the Wankel rotary, and they didn't want it to be really like complicated for people since it was such a complicated engine that people hadn't seen before. They tried to dumb it down in every other aspect so people would still be like, open to buying it.
Okay. So we're going to do it a little bit different. I'm not going to tell you how many you got right. We're going to go through each question and read them again, and then I'll tell you if you got them right.
Okay.
So we're going to go back to number 1. According to CarMax, how many people drive an auto over manual? And you indeed got it right. You got 96%. Answer number C.
I would have thought it would have been lower than that, but just kind of like the theory of multiple choice is the reason.
I think I put in good numbers for just kind of like...
Yeah, I think 90 and 80 was about what I expected it to be, but that 96 outlier was kind of...
Right. Okay. Number 2. What year was Subaru founded? You did not get this one right.
It was 53.
And you tried to go back to it, but I didn't want to let you change your answer because
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't want to give you more time to think about it than your first answer.
So you know why I
we're
went
one
back
and
to
one.
53 though?
Why?
Is because the first answer was C. I do this when I take tests, but the first answer was C, so the second one can't be C again.
Yeah. I was thinking about that in my head too, but all right, so we're 1 and 1 now. Question number 3. What was the name of the lowrider in the movie Cars? It was indeed Ramon. I had to look that one up because I couldn't remember. I wanted to do a question from the movie Cars because I know we both like that movie, but I wanted it to be on kind of an outlier character, so it was a little bit more tough.
That was probably the only one that I would have gotten right.
Really?
Him, Mater, Lightning, Sally, I know them. Flo.
There was another.
I know a lot, actually.
There was another one that was like, what was the name of the founder of Radiator Springs? And it was Stanley. Stanley, and I didn't know if you would know that one or not, but okay. We're going to question number 4. What was the main character's name in Gran Torino? It was indeed Walt. I know you wanted to say Tao too, but yeah.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I don't think that Gran Torino is a car movie.
It's funny because I searched up car movie and it came up. So because the name of the movie is a car, so essentially it's about the car.
Yeah, I think
in a
that's
way.
just kind of like, I feel like the car is the means to the end. I mean, I could talk about like, you know, that forever. I love that
Yeah.
movie. That's a,
It was a good movie. I just recently watched it, like what, a month ago?
yeah, about a month ago.
We watched it together. But question number 5. What was the name of the rotary in the first Gen RX-7? Now I'm gonna have to research this one.
try
So
to
we cut the video off. We cut it off because we wanted to research that last question, which was the name of the motor in the FB RX-7, the first gen, and it was indeed the 12A. So we did get it right. So you got 4 out of 5 right. So you did do better than, you know, just passing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you did
probably
good.
like a C or maybe a low B.
Yeah, just like in college, man.
Yeah.
Just like all of us in college. Just got to get by. So with that, we are done with another episode of Shop Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Ryan, for coming. It's been awesome having you here for just a few days because, you know, it's this day and age, it's hard to be able to go and see each other. Little as it seems like 5.5 hours seems, it's just sometimes hard to string a couple of days together to
definitely.
come and visit each other. But I'm glad to see that we both got cars now that we kind of want to work on. It's a shame we can't work on them as much together as we want to.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely get enough time to.
I mean, mine's got a long way before we're really working on it.
And we got some work done on the 300. You know, we got it running. We took it for its first test drive. You know, yesterday. So it's
It
been
idles
great.
by itself now.
Yeah, it does. It idles by itself. We just have to burn all the rat turds and stuff out of her, and
Yeah.
we're good. But so thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Shop Talk. We will see you guys next week. Be sure to leave a thumbs up on this. I would really appreciate it. The main spot where you can watch these will be on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And I'll be cutting up like some small bits and like some highlights and stuff and putting them on like my TikTok, Instagram, that kind of thing. But again, if you want to come on, be sure to contact me. You don't just have to be my friend. You can be just somebody locally that, you know, I know of, that we can just kind of get to know each other through the show. And that's kind of what I want this to be, is just kind of be, you know, interviewing people in the car scene and getting to know everybody a little bit and what gets us all going about cars. So with that being said, we will see you guys in the next episode.